Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming MCS exams happening in November 2025. My name is Nicholas and I'm one of the lead tutors and evaluators for MCS at TCS. So let's look at the session outcomes. First things first, I'm going to share some insights into how you should tackle pre-scene application, because when developing your answers at this stage, at the MCS stage, as opposed to what you have encountered at the operational case study or the OCS exam, you need to really focus on pre-scene application. So I'm going to share some insights into how you should do it in a successful manner. And in the as the second part of today's session, I will be conducting an industry analysis, thereby explaining what your industry is all about. And this will be followed by a pre-scene analysis. I don't have time to take you through the pre-scene in its entirety. Instead, I'm simply going to direct your attention towards what happens within the four main departments of Ressett. And at the same time, I intend to take you through one of the news articles concerning e-waste, which appears towards the very end of your pre-scene document. So before we get into the technicalities, let me quickly remind you of the upcoming webinars and workshops we have scheduled for you. So the third webinar, Answering Technique, is happening next Saturday at 9 GMT or 10 AM UK. This is the most important webinar out of the four webinars we have scheduled for you. So in this webinar, I'm going to teach you how you should develop your answers. And at the same time, I'm going to highlight how you should manage your time appropriately. And I'm not just going to teach you these two elements with regards to answering technique and time management. I will also take you through one of the mock exams which we have developed, thereby explaining how we should practically implement these techniques. And after learning these techniques, you are supposed to keep practicing them whenever you are attempting each of our mock exams, which are supposed to be attempted under real exam conditions. So make sure to attend the third webinar without fail, because you will definitely benefit from the Q&A session, which we will not be recording. And in the fourth webinar, Exam Prep, I will be taking you through the exam blueprint, primarily directing your attention towards examiner's comments, because it's essential that you understand what the examiner expects from you. And at the same time, I will talk about what you need to do to rebound from failure, or the type of pitfalls you need to avoid when conducting preparations. Also, I will share stress management techniques with you. So once we are done with the fourth webinar, we are kickstarting our workshop series, in which I'm going to take you through each syllabus pillar, thereby highlighting what can be tested concerning your F2, E2, and P2 syllabi. And in each of these workshops, I will be taking you through a mock exam, thereby explaining how to tackle questions tied to your F2, P2, and E2 syllabi. And as usual, I will be conducting Q&As during these workshops as well. And in the final workshop, which happens just 2 or 3 days before your examination, I will be sharing last-minute tips with you to make sure that you can walk into the exam with a high level of positivity. Because as per the CIMA examiner, if you believe in yourself, if you are confident about your skill set, then you will easily pass this examination. So make use of these free webinars and workshops which are conducting on a weekly basis, which is the best way to keep tabs about your performance in each week. And at the same time, if you have any questions, you can get them addressed towards the end of each week. All right, so having said that, let's try to understand how we should deal with pre-scene application. Let's try to understand what the right approach is. So first things first, if you are to bring in pre-scene info or include pre-scene info in your answers, you need to know your key information. For instance, you have to have a good understanding of the internal dynamics of your chosen company, along with the external dynamics, or you need to have a sound knowledge of what happens within your chosen industry, what happens within your chosen company. And at the same time, you need to have a good understanding of what appears within the financial statements of your company and its closest competitor. So don't worry about these elements. We have covered all these areas via the study resources which we have developed. You can easily understand the key information when you go through the annotated pre-scene which we have developed. And based on this annotated pre-scene, we have also developed 4 different pre-scene analysis videos, because your pre-scene is divided into 4 main parts focused on the same 4 parts. We have developed 4 pre-scene analysis videos, and when recording these pre-scene analysis videos, we have utilized this annotated pre-scene. So once you had gone through this annotated pre-scene and once you have watched these pre-scene analysis videos, you need not worry about remembering the most important points which are highlighted within the pre-scene document, because once you had gone through these resources, you will easily remember all these important points. Similarly, concerning the ratios of your chosen company and your closest competitor, you need not work out the numbers. We have already done it for you. So those who have already purchased have access to these resources via the student dashboard. So we have evaluated each financial statement, making sure to keep things simple to ensure that you stand a chance to gain an in-depth understanding of each financial statement or what is covered within each financial statement in a jiffy. So we have evaluated the SOPL, the SOFP, as well as we have conducted a ratio analysis concerning your company and its closest competitor fix up. Again, we have kept things simple so that you can easily understand the financial standing of your company against its closest competitor. So you need not worry about the numbers as well, because we have covered the ratio analysis related elements. Further, we have gone a step further and we have developed a pre-scene mind map, which we are sharing with anyone, irrespective of whether you have invested on a paid package or not. So with regards to remembering the most important points highlighted within the pre-scene, you need not worry about this element, because simply go through this document on a daily basis until your examination, so that you are constantly reminding yourself of the most important points highlighted within your pre-scene. So if you had gone through the pre-scene already, you would have understood that there's an indication of what happens within your industry, and there's an indication of the type of vendors which operate within your country's industry. And at the same time, there's information about the grading system adopted by resellers, the hardware and software components used within PCs, as well as there's news articles which give you some additional information about the type of scenarios which can be tested at the exam. And also there's an indication of the internal dynamics of your chosen company, because the FAQ section, a snippet of the FAQ section of your chosen company's website is shared with you. And also there's an indication of what the history of your company, the various different departments within your chosen organization. It's essential that you gain an in-depth understanding of what happens within each of these departments. And at the same time, there's an indication of the current business model of your chosen organization. There's a sustainability report. Sustainability is coming in to your syllabus. As per the CIMA guidance, it was supposed to come in 2026, but they have introduced the sustainability report in this case study. So definitely these knowledge areas will be tested along with the financials. So you need not worry about remembering all these points, because we have developed this pre-scene mind map, and based on this pre-scene mind map, we have developed 6 TikTok videos as well. So keep watching these TikTok videos, keep referring to this document to make sure that you are constantly reminded of the most important points which appear within your pre-scene document. And when conducting your preparations, prepare for possible scenarios, but you have to be open-minded. The mock exams, when you go through the mock exams, you will gain a clear understanding of how each syllabus area can be tested, along with the type of scenarios which can be thrown at you at your real examination. However, we are not in a position to predict with 100% accuracy about the type of scenarios which can be tested at the exam, because it's up to the examiner to decide the scenarios. However, we are in a position to determine the syllabus areas which can be tested, and when developing the 6 mock exams, we have made sure to cover all syllabus areas to ensure that you are not testing your luck at your real examination. So when conducting preparations, your objective should be to understand how each syllabus area is tested. You should not try and memorize the type of scenarios which can be tested at the exam, because no one is in a position to predict the type of scenarios which can be tested at the exam. And remember that the scenario presented in the exam carries latest information. So your pre-scene gives you an indication of the history of your chosen company and what your company does at the moment. But at your exam, fresh information will be shared with you concerning some type of new opportunities the company tries to exploit or some type of threats the company is trying to avoid. So when conducting your preparations, always remember, don't try to memorize the mock exams and the suggested answers and whatnot. Your objective should be to improve your skill set. Okay, so that's that. And when it comes to referring to pre-scene information in your answers, you are supposed to refer pre-scene info or cite pre-scene info in such a way that it adds value to your answer. So don't bring in pre-scene info just to show to the examiner or the marker that you have gone through the pre-scene or you have memorized pre-scene info. That is not your role. You are supposed to play the role of a finance manager. As I mentioned in the first webinar, which was conducted last week, I highlighted what your responsibilities are. You are the link between the board members and the operational level staff. So you have to be well versed with communication, decision making skills, leadership, and whatnot. So as a leader, as a finance manager within your organization, uh, 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 whenever you are responding to an email, there's absolutely no point of highlighting something about your company which has no relevance to the email which you receive from your superior. For instance, let's assume your superior is sending an email with the intention of ensuring that we conduct an investment appraisal in a successful manner. So when the question is about investment appraisal, if you mention of the 4 different departments within our organization, you are not going to get any marks. So don't bring in generic pre-scene info, because if you do it in an unnecessary manner, you are not going to gain marks. Instead, you are going to end up losing marks. So avoid overloading your responses with unnecessary details just to demonstrate that we have studied the pre-scene, because when marking your papers, we have encountered, especially those who are coming through the exemption route, especially those who are attempting a CIMA case study examination for the first time, there's a tendency for you to start your answers by developing an introductory paragraph. And in this introductory paragraph, constantly students are talking about what happens within the company. You are saying, I'm the finance manager who is working within Ressett, and we are based in this country. Our currency is this. We have 4 different departments within our organization. This is our business model. All these explanations are done when the question is about investment appraisal. So it adds absolutely no value. Always remember, uh, think in a practical manner, because if you think in a practical manner, you will come up with practical answers which are 100% aligned with each requirement. Because as I mentioned in the first webinar, the examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So always think, okay, I'm receiving an email from my superior. When developing your responses, always make sure to develop answers which are totally aligned with the requirement. Don't deviate from the requirement. Don't bring in generic irrelevant information from the pre-scene, because at office you won't do so. At office, when you are responding to your boss, you are not going to talk about the internal dynamics of your company. You are not going to talk about the industry. You are not going to talk about the financial, what appears within the financial statements. Instead, your job is to address the requirement at hand. So whenever you are bringing in pre-scene info, do it with the intention of adding value to your answer or justifying one of your arguments. So if you want to justify one of your points, you can say, okay, as per our internal dynamics, this is what we used to do in the past. And if we try to do something like this, it goes against the way of doing things, the current way of doing things. So something like that. And if there's a question tied to something like the business model, yes, definitely, you need to refer to the current or the existing business model of your chosen organization. So there's a way in which you need to think in terms of pre-scene application. you will gain a better understanding of how to do this in a practical and successful manner. When you attend the third webinar, in which I'm going to teach you the answering technique, and at the same time, when you go through the suggested answers and answer plans as well as the master classes, you will gain a clear understanding of how to deal with pre-scene application in the most successful manner, and you'd also understand how to avoid including generic pre-scene info or irrelevant pre-scene info, because if you do so, as I mentioned earlier, you are going to lose marks. All right, then let's try to understand how you should tackle your E2, F2, and P2 syllabi. So at this exam, you are supposed to be prepared to apply your conceptual or theoretical knowledge which you have gained via your E2, F2, and P2 syllabi. And at the same time, you have to be prepared to interpret figures and numbers. Okay, so any syllabus area concerning your E2, F2, P2 syllabi can be tested at this exam. I've heard so many tutors out there saying that certain syllabus elements cannot be tested at the MCS examination, which is not true. Any syllabus area can be tested. That is why we have painstakingly developed 6 mock exams with the prime intention of covering all syllabus areas to make sure that you are walking into the exam with a good understanding of how each syllabus area can be tested. So prepare for application of theories and concepts. Any syllabus area concerning your E2, F2, and P2 syllabi can be tested. And at the same time, with regards to interpretation of numbers, you are not supposed to do any calculations. You might have to work out a gearing ratio, which is a minor calculation. Other than that, you are not supposed to do any calculations. All facts and figures will be shared with you at the exam. Your job is to interpret these facts and figures or interpret these numbers. For instance, if there's a question to do with investment appraisal, the NPVs, the IRRs, ARRs, all these things will be shared with you. Your job is to utilize these numbers and conduct your evaluation. You are not expected to do investment appraisal related calculations or the NPVs, discounted paybacks and whatnot. All these facts and figures will be shared with you. Your job is to explain these numbers. And when conducting preparations concerning your E2, F2, and P2 syllabi, do not skip any topic. That is why, as I mentioned earlier, we have made sure to cover all syllabus areas. That is why we are developing 6 different mock exams. And do not rely on predictions, as any area can be examined. So why am I saying this? Because as I mentioned earlier, the examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So if you are really playing the role of a finance manager within Ressett, your chosen company, are you in a position to predict what is going to happen within the company in the future? You can't do so. Yes, you need to have a good understanding of what the company was up to in the past. You need to have a good understanding of what happens within your industry, what appears within your financial statements, what happens within your chosen company. However, even if you are the CEO of the company, you are not in a position to predict the type of opportunities the company might exploit in the future, or predict the type of threats the company might try to avoid in the future. So when conducting your preparations, as I mentioned earlier, your job should be to refine your skill set, refine your answering, time management, and stress management techniques, and at the same time, gain a clear understanding of how each syllabus area can be tested. And with regards to scenarios, just be practical, because any scenario can be tested at your MCS examination. All right, so having said that, let's walk into the industry analysis. So I'm going to conduct the industry analysis partially focused on the industry analysis slides. Then I'm going to move towards the pre-scene document, because in the pre-scene, in the first part, there's an indication of what happens within your industry. So I'm going to direct your attention towards the pre-scene in a little while. So I'm not going to take you through this document in its entirety. I'm simply going to take you through the most important elements. You can go through this document on your own, which will just take 10 to 15 minutes of your time. So let's try to understand how your market is defined. So this time's pre-scene is based on the PC, resale, and refurbishment industry. So you will gain a clearer understanding of what this company Ressett is all about when I'm taking you through the pre-scene document and explaining the internal dynamics of Ressett. for now, let's try to understand what this industry is all about. So players within this industry are involved with procurement of new and used personal computers. Always remember, we are not only dealing with used computers, we are also dealing with new computers or personal computers or PCs, peripherals and related consumables. So players within this industry, they are involved with procuring new and used PCs, peripherals, and related consumables such as toner cartridges, cables, and whatnot. And once they have procured these PCs and peripherals, they resell them to individual customers, corporates, and public sector clients. And if you look at the key players within this industry, the key players are independent resellers such as Ressett, as well as this OEM or original equipment manufacturer authorized refurbishers as well. So if you look at real life dynamics companies such as Dell, these are considered as OEMs. So these companies have their own branded refurbishing entities as well. So these are one type of key players within this industry, and there are large electronic retailers with dedicated refurbished product arms as well. So these are the major players within this industry. And then let's try to understand how this market is segmented. So looking at the type of customers, there are corporate clients as well as government buyers who are interested in purchasing PCs from resellers, and there are individual customers and as well as educational institutions. So looking at corporate or government buyers, they are involved with large volume purchases, rightfully so, because if you are purchasing PCs for your company, then you'd have to purchase a lot of PCs. The same should be said about government buyers as well. So these entities often operate via tender or framework agreements, and these players or these type of customers emphasize on reliability, warranties, and support at all times. And looking at individual customers, these are budget conscious buyers. So these individuals, if they are going after resellers, they are always trying to purchase something for cheap, and they are therefore seeking affordable computing, and they are going for often refurbished or lower tier new items. And there are educational institutions as well who are looking for bulk purchase discounts, and at the same time they are purchasing on bulk, and they are looking for reliable low cost equipment, because educational institutions, especially if these educational institutions are run by the government, they are always cost conscious. So because of that, they are interested in purchasing from resellers, and they may favor extended service contracts or donations as well. Okay, and then let's try to understand the industry trends, because based on these trends, scenarios can be thrown at you at your real exam. So there's a growth in refurbished goods in this day and age, and there's a rising demand for cost-effective computing, which is good for this industry. And there's a high level of consciousness towards sustainability and environmental protection, especially between younger customer segments, which is driving demand for circular economy practices. So when it comes to PC resellers, we are actually part and parcel of the circular economy. We are fulfilling the needs of ESG concerned customers. And there's a growth in online sales and digital marketplaces as well, which is also good for our business. There's a shift from physical stores to e-commerce platforms and B2B portals, and as well as buyers expect real-time stock visibility and fast fulfillment. So because of this, consumers or customers can easily gain a good understanding about the technical specifications of the PCs and peripherals which we sell via the websites. And on top of that, they can easily place their orders and get these PCs and peripherals delivered to their doorstep in an instantaneous manner. And on top of that, there's a high level of prominence provided towards data security and compliance. There's increasing regulation around data wiping and chain of custody. I'm going to talk about data wiping in a little while and how important it is concerning your chosen company Ressett. And there are certifications, international certifications which have become vital for refurbishers such as R2 and ISO certifications. And also, players within this industry are focusing on inventory optimization and improving their supply chain using technology. So most major players focus on or depend on business intelligence systems and warehouse management systems to improve forecasting, reduce stock write-offs, and optimize product mix, because these resellers, they end up purchasing products which are going out of the market, or products which are deemed to be outdated, or not outdated as per se, but it's going to be outdated soon. So when you are purchasing these type of stocks, if you purchase too much, then you are holding on to stocks which you cannot sell to customers. So in order to avoid all these types of issues, it's essential that you forecast the demand for each type of PC and peripheral which you purchase. That is exactly why companies must depend on business intelligence systems and warehouse management systems. And also, component shortages and supply chain disruptions are driving demand for resellers. Why am I saying this? Because due to trade wars, especially if you look at real life dynamics, there's a trade war between the West and the East. There's a trade war between China and America, and this had led to a shortage of computer chips. And due to this shortage, production has dipped when you look at new PCs. So this has pushed buyers towards purchasing refurbished stocks, or opting for alternative product lines. So these are the industry trends. As I mentioned earlier, based on this info, scenarios can be thrown at you at your real examination. All right, so that's what your industry is all about. And before we move on to your Preseen document, let me quickly tell you what we offer at TCS. So I'm on the MCS page. If you're yet to create a free user account and gain access to our free user content, please click on this button and create a free user account. Once you have done so, you'd gain access to our student dashboard. You can access the student dashboard by clicking on this button, and via the student dashboard, you'd gain access to the recorded versions of the weekly webinars and workshops, the free mock exam, its suggested answer, and the answer plan. Also, you have the opportunity of attempting the free mock exam under exam conditions via our exam platform. At TCS, we have developed an exam platform which is the exact replica of the Pearson VUE system on which you'd attempt your real examination. So you have the opportunity of attempting the full mock exam, mock number 1, under exam conditions, which is the best way to test your answering, time management, and stress management techniques. So you can gain access to all these free resources via our student dashboard. So click on this button and create a user account. And if you are interested in investing on our paid content, click on this button and check the sample material before you do so. And if you're yet to join our MCS WhatsApp discussion forum, click on this button and join it. Via this group, we'll keep you guys informed of the commencement dates and times of the weekly webinars and workshops. Also, we will be sharing hordes of free resources with you. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can engage with the other students and be involved with group learning, or I'm always there. Myself and our co-tutor Jared are always there to help you guys out as and when necessary. And talking about what we offer 2 packages, the essential course and the premium course. The essential course is designed for those who have completed their CIMA OTQ examinations, E2, F2, and P2 OTQs, or those who are coming through the general route. So the essential course, as it is intended for those who have completed their OTQs. Since you have completed your OTQs, you have already learned your theory. You need not worry about theoretical knowledge or conceptual knowledge. You have already learned theory. So when conducting your preparations, it's simply a matter of taking steps to improve your application skills. So we have included some resources under the essential course with the intention of ensuring that you are aware of how each syllabus area can be tested, and on your own, you can work towards improving your application skills. So under the essential course, you would gain access to the recordings of all webinars and workshops, 6 mock exams with suggested answers. And as I mentioned earlier, we have made sure to cover all syllabus areas within these 6 mock exams. You will gain access to Preseen analysis videos, 4 videos in total, along with the annotated Preseen. You will understand how we conduct our Preseen analysis sessions in a little while when I'm conducting the Preseen analysis based on the annotated Preseen. You'd also gain access to the industry and financial analysis slides, top 10 likely issues, and the case study familiarization kit. You can read through this kit within just 10 to 15 minutes and gain an in-depth understanding of the technicalities behind your MCS exam. You will also gain access to a tutor managed live chat and OTQ revision cards. So after attempting each mock exam, if you feel that you cannot remember a certain theoretical element, or if you feel that you need to brush up your knowledge, simply go through these revision cards. Don't waste time by trying to go through your past notes or bulky study texts. Go through these revision cards. In a jiffy, you are in a position to brush up your knowledge. So the essential course is priced at £249. And talking about the premium course is designed for those who are coming through the exemption routes, as well as those who had failed the MCS exam previously. So both these sets of students have the same problem. There are gaps in theory knowledge and issues with application. So with the intention of teaching you theory and ensuring that you significantly improve your application skills, we have included some additional resources under the premium course on top of what appears within the essential course. So under the premium course, you'd gain access to everything which comes with the essential course. In addition to it, you'd gain access to the online mock exam platform on which you can attempt all 6 mocks under exam conditions, which is the best way to practice your answering, time management, and stress management techniques. You will gain access to the answer plans of all 6 mock exams. So let me quickly show you what an answer plan looks like. So this is what a typical answer plan looks like. So rather than having access to pages and pages of suggested answers, when you have access to these answer plans, you can clearly understand the logic behind each answer. You can clearly understand how to tackle each syllabus area, as well as how to structure your answers. And this helps you with your revision, because when conducting revision, you are supposed to redevelop answer plans. You will understand what I'm talking about, or what redeveloping answer plans are all about after you have attended next week's webinar, in which I'm going to teach you answering technique. Then you will know what these answer plans are and how to develop these answer plans. So when conducting revision, your job is to redevelop answer plans. So when it comes to redeveloping answer plans, your job becomes easy because you have access to our answer plans. You should try and replicate TCS's answer plans. Okay, and on top of that, via the premium course, you'd gain access to 20 master classes. So from mocks 2 to 6, there are 5 mock exams. So in each mock exam, there are 4 sections. So 4 sections into 5 mocks come up to 20 sections in total. So focused on each section, we have developed a masterclass with the prime intention of teaching you theory and application, which are 100% based on the 6 mocks which we have developed. Because if you learn theory in isolation, you will struggle with application. So the easiest way to understand how each syllabus area is tested, understand how you should tackle each syllabus area when structuring your answers, and at the same time, the easiest way to understand application at the same instance is to gain access to these master classes. So if you have knowledge gaps and issues with application, you can fix these 2 problems simply by having access to these 20 master classes. Also, you'd gain access to tutor feedback on mock number 4. And on top of that, after receiving tutor feedback on mock number 4, if you feel that you need additional support, or you need to opt for additional tutor feedback, you can opt for tutor feedback focused on mocks 5 and 6 for an additional payment of £50 per mock exam. So let me quickly show you the type of feedback on offer. So this is the type of feedback which is offered at TCS. As you can see, we have evaluated each and every paragraph, each and every point, with the prime intention of highlighting what your shortcomings are. Because if you don't understand your shortcomings, you can't take steps towards improving your skill set. So once you have received this type of feedback, you will understand your shortcomings, and then you can take steps to overcome your shortcomings when conducting revision. And on top of that, at the very end, we have determined mark allocations on a subtask by subtask basis. We have also indicated a success rate. By looking at the success rate, you can easily understand the subtasks in which your performance was substandard, and focused on these subtasks which are highlighted in yellow. When conducting revision, you are supposed to redevelop answer plans. Okay, so these are the resources on offer under the premium course, and the premium course is priced at £699, which can be paid in 2 installments of £349 each, or you can pay in full. If so, you will save £100, and the price is just £599. So you can invest on your preferred course by clicking on either of these buttons. And all products are available until the 28th of February 2026. So if you're planning on sitting for the MCS exams happening in February 2026, you can invest right now, which gives you a head start, and you'd have some additional time to conduct your preparations appropriately. And before we walk into the Preseen analysis, let me quickly tell you what you need to do within this week as per our 8-week study plan, which can be accessed via our website itself. So as per the study plan, we are in week number 2, which is dedicated towards decrypting the Preseen document. So within this week, you are supposed to watch the Preseen analysis videos, which is going to take something like 1.5 hours to 2 hours of your time. Once you are done with it, refer to the annotated Preseen on your own, go through the annotated Preseen on your own, thereby revising your knowledge. And after you are done with it, go through the industry and financial analysis slides on your own, thereby revising once more. So if you do these 3 activities, you will gain an in-depth understanding of your Preseen. You need not conduct your own industry analysis. You need not work out the numbers or try to evaluate the financial statements on your own. You need not try and understand what appears within the Preseen. We have covered all these elements for you. And from week 3 onwards, things become hectic and serious, because from week 3 onwards, you have to kickstart your mock preparations. Don't attempt any mock exams as yet, because I'm going to teach you answering and time management technique in the 3rd webinar. Once you have learned these things, then you are supposed to kickstart your mock attempts. All right. So having said that, let's move towards the Preseen analysis. So let's try to understand what your industry is all about and what your company is up to. So first things first, there's an introduction about your company. So this time's Preseen, as you know, is based on a company which is known as Ressett. And Ressett is a reseller of new and used PCs and accessories. So Ressett is not a retailer of PCs and accessories. Instead, Ressett is a reseller. So, after going through this Preseen document, when I went through this Preseen for the first time, I personally thought that this time's Preseen is based on a retailer. But when I went through the Preseen for the second time, then I realized this is not a retailer, this is a reseller. So you have to make sure that you understand this point. Always remember, this time's Preseen is not based on a retailer. Instead, this time's Preseen is based on a reseller of new and used PCs and accessories. And we are not only selling used PCs, we are also selling new PCs. And the target markets are B2C and B2B. We are involved with business to consumer or direct. We are selling directly to individual customers. And at the same time, we are involved with B2B sales, thereby selling to corporate clients and the public sector. So I explained the type of customers when I was conducting the industry analysis. So we are selling to individuals, corporate clients, as well as the public sector. And our purchasing strategy is to purchase in bulk with the intention of ensuring that we benefit from economies of scale. I'm going to talk about these things in depth in a little while. And our pricing is significantly cheaper than conventional retailers for new PCs, which should be the case because we are a reseller. And we are a reseller. And as a reseller, we are attracting customers who are looking to purchase something for cheap. And we are based in Lamland, a fictitious country, and the currency is the $. And within this country, IASs and IFRSs are used for financial reporting. So your knowledge concerning your F2 syllabus, IASs and IFRSs will be tested. And you are playing the role of a finance manager at Ressett's head office. So as a finance manager, Your knowledge concerning your F2 syllabus will definitely be tested. Not just F2, because in this day and age, as a finance manager, you have to be conversant with how to deal with risks, how to identify and manage risks, how to be involved with decision making concerning financial and non-financial elements. So you have to be conversant with what appears within your P2 syllabus. And on top of that, you have to be conversant with the HR elements as well as project management related elements, which are highlighted within your E2 syllabus. So you have to be conversant with all syllabus areas which appear within your E2, F2, and P2 syllabi. And let's try to understand the type of products which are sold by retailers, resellers, manufacturers, and whatnot. So the products, or if you look at personal computers, or simply put, PCs, the products include desktops, laptops, tabs, and various different peripherals such as monitors, printers, external hard disks, as well as consumables, which can be divided into two categories: consumables, which are used in the operation of PCs and peripherals, such as paper and ink cartridges, and consumables used to backup or transfer data, such as USB sticks and DVDs. And looking at the Lamland PC market, or the PC market in your chosen industry, if you look at the revenues in the previous 2 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025, you can see that within 2023 and 2024, sales had dipped a bit, and the sales had been constant between 2024 and 2025. And with regards to predictions concerning the years 2026 and 2027, we can see that there is no growth forecasted or predicted. So we are operating in a stagnant market. It's essential that you understand this, understand the fact that we are operating in a stagnant market, given the fact that we have not seen any growth in the past 2 years, and at the same time, we are not supposed to grow in the upcoming 2 years. And if you look at the purchase patterns, it is mentioned that most individuals already own a device within this country, which indicates the fact that we are based in a developed economy. Because when we are based in a developed economy, then everybody will have access to a PC. And if you look at the type of customers, the demand is primarily driven by 16 to 17-year-olds. Almost 90% of 16 to 70-year-olds have access to a PC. And whereas if you look at those customers who are above the age of 75, at least 50%, almost 50% of them have access to a PC. So which gives us an indication about the fact that we are operating in a developed economy. So as I mentioned earlier, the highest penetration rate is with regards to 16 and 17-year-olds, and they prefer laptops and tabs over computers. And on top of that, they use these PCs for gaming purposes. And the same could be said about the 35 to 45-year-old segment as well. They use PCs for their own businesses, for office work, as well as to fulfill their entertainment needs, especially focused on gaming. So the possible exam scenarios which can be tested tied to this information is with regards to your company pursuing some type of diversification. Why am I saying this? Given the fact that we are operating in a static market, there's no forecasted growth. So whenever a company is operating in a static market or a stagnant market, the only way to increase the market share is to pursue some type of diversification. So at your exam, there will be a scenario, definitely there will be a scenario which is tied to some type of a diversification. It could be us moving into, reselling electronic goods, not just electronic goods, goods such as gaming consoles. We are not selling gaming consoles at the moment, but we might have to diversify into this market if we are to grow our market share, grow our revenues in the future. And on top of that, another way of growing our revenues, growing our market share, is to pursue some type of an acquisition with the intention of consolidating market share. So an acquisition related scenario will definitely be tested at the exam. And on top of that, given the fact that we are operating in a stagnant market, the only way in which players within this industry can compete on is based on price. So all players within this industry will try to reduce prices as much as possible, because if you can reduce your price, then consumers will end up purchasing your products. So the only way to compete in this stagnant market is to try and reduce the price as much as possible. So focused on all these scenarios, the examinable syllabus areas are tied to business models. So if we are pursuing some type of a diversification, then we are trying to do something new. Therefore, our business model should change. So your knowledge concerning business models will be tested. So if your knowledge concerning business models are tested, it's essential that you gain a clear understanding of the existing business model of Ressett. Because if you are clueless of the existing business model of Ressett, you cannot comment about how the business model might change when we are trying to do something new. And similarly, your knowledge concerning business ecosystems will be tested, because when we are pursuing a diversification, as I mentioned earlier, we are trying to do something new, then our business ecosystem is poised to change. So you should know the current business ecosystem to comment about any changes to business ecosystems if we pursue a diversification. And the same could be said about an acquisition, because when we acquire another company, we are trying to integrate different processes, different systems, different cultures, and all these things will expose us to a totally different ecosystem. So your knowledge concerning business ecosystems will definitely be tested. And business risks, when we are acquiring a company, or when we are pursuing some type of diversification, we are exposed to risks. So as a finance manager, you should have the capability of identifying various different risks, and at the same time come up with appropriate mitigatory strategies. And your knowledge concerning value chain analysis will be tested, especially given the fact that we are operating in a stagnant market, and the fact that we are involved, we are competing on price. So when a company is competing on price, it's essential that a company keeps tabs about its value chain, because when conducting a value chain analysis, the prime objective is to understand how value is created as a chain of activities. And when looking at a value chain, we are trying to understand or gain an understanding of two main elements. Element number one is to gain an understanding of value adding and non-value adding activities within our supply chain or our value chain. By understanding the value adding and non-value adding activities, we can try and get rid of, after understanding non-value adding activities, we can try and get rid of these non-value adding activities. By doing so, we can significantly improve the quality within our value chain, because when we get rid of non-value adding activities, we are taking steps indirectly or vicariously to improve the quality of our processes. And at the same time, we are getting rid of unnecessary costs, because when you get rid of non-value adding activities, you are getting rid of unnecessary costs. Therefore, the costs will decrease. The benefit of these cost decreases can be passed down to the end consumer via reduced prices. And I said that we are competing based on price. When we are competing based on price, if we can reduce the price, then our revenues will grow in the future. Our market share will grow in the future. So when competing within this type of a market, which carries tight margins, it's essential that we keep tabs about our value chain, because if we do so, we can improve the quality within our processes and at the same time reduce our price. If so, we can achieve something called value for money. Value for money is a situation where a company is offering utmost levels of quality, and at the same time, the prices charged are affordable. We can achieve just that if we keep tabs about our value chain. So your knowledge concerning value chain analysis will be tested. And when pursuing some type of diversification, when trying to do something new, we have to make investments. And before we make these investments, we have to make sure that we appraise these investments. So your knowledge concerning investment appraisal will be tested. And when acquiring another company, we have to consider what type of a responsibility center it is going to be. The new subsidiary is going to be, whether it is going to be a cost center, a revenue center, a profit center, or an investment center. So your knowledge concerning responsibility centers will be tested, and you have to implement performance or suggest performance measures to keep tabs about diversification, to keep tabs about an acquired company's performance, or keep tabs about what happens within your chosen company. And with tied to an acquisition, when dealing with a subsidiary, when involved with business dealings with a subsidiary, your knowledge concerning transfer pricing will be tested. And when going for long-term investments, your knowledge concerning sources of finance, how it impacts the group accounts of your chosen company, and how it therefore impacts the weighted average cost of capital will be tested. And since we are competing based on price, we have to make sure that we always are conversant about the differing needs of customers. We have to make sure that we are always aligning ourselves with the needs of customers, trying to keep tabs about whether our products are affordable or not. So therefore, your knowledge concerning pricing strategies will definitely be tested at your examination. All right, so that's your market. Having said that, I'm not going to take you through this generic information. We have already covered them within the Preseen analysis videos. Please go watch them. These are simple information. And having said that, I want to direct your attention towards the type of PC vendors within this country. So there are four main types of PC vendors. There are PC manufacturers, which are involved with selling new PCs. And there are retailers, again, involved with selling new PCs. And there are online marketplaces in which buyers and sellers are connected. So these buyers and sellers, buy and sell used PCs, and there are resellers as well. So out of these four players, Ressett is a reseller. Always remember this: we are not a retailer, we are a reseller, and therefore we are involved with selling new and used PCs. So let's try to gain an understanding of each type of player. I'm not going to explain all these things in depth. It's quite simple information. I'm going to give you a synopsis of each of these players because I want to direct your attention primarily on resellers. So if you look at manufacturers, as the name suggests, they produce and sell new PCs and peripherals, and most of these manufacturers are selling online in this day and age. But some manufacturers are there, which operate their own sales outlets as well. But within this market, in your country, a majority of manufacturers are involved with online sales. And looking at retailers, as I mentioned earlier, these retailers, just like manufacturers, they are involved with selling new PCs and peripherals. And there are three main type of retailers. There are specialist electronic retailers, which operate their own physical locations, and they offer a wide range of PCs and brands. And there are department stores as well. Since department stores are not only selling electronic items, they are selling other items as well. Because of that, they cannot offer a large range. Therefore, they are only selling a lesser range or a smaller range, and they are selling a lesser number of PC brands. And on top of that, there are online retailers as well. And customers can order and pay via websites, and a courier company handles the logistics behind these orders. All right. And talking about online marketplaces, these are mostly used by individuals to buy or sell used goods. So always remember, online marketplaces are not retailers. Instead, they have developed a system which is intended to connect buyers and sellers of used goods. Okay, so that's what an online marketplace is. And these online marketplaces are used by individuals as well as some small businesses. And sometimes you'd see fixed pricing used within these marketplaces, or the pricing system is based on bidding. All right. And having said that, let's try to understand what resellers are up to. So resellers purchase PCs from manufacturers, large retailers, commercial and non-commercial organizations. So let's try to understand the various different types of stakeholders resellers deal with and the type of products they purchase from these different stakeholders. So when you look at manufacturers, there are stocks which are supposed to be withdrawn from market, which are nearing its end of life. So focused on these products which are nearing its end of life, resellers go have a chat with manufacturers and make sure that the stocks which are about to be withdrawn are purchased from these manufacturers, because these products can be sold by resellers at a discount. So that's how we deal with manufacturers. And we also deal with large retailers, and we purchase unsold and demo units or display units from these large retailers. So large retailers, again, with regards to stocks which are about to be withdrawn, they have unsold stocks, as well as there are demonstration units as well. So all these demonstration units, as well as stocks which are to be withdrawn, which are unsold, are purchased from large retailers. And we purchase from commercial and non-commercial organizations as well. So we purchase or resellers purchase units or PCs which are supposed to be disposed due to replacement. So let's assume a company wants to replace all their PCs. When doing so, they have to dispose of their existing PCs, and resellers go and buy these type of used PCs from commercial as well as non-commercial organizations such as schools and the government sector. And all these various different types of PCs which are purchased from manufacturers, large retailers, commercial and non-commercial organizations are resold to individuals as well as companies. And let's try to understand the buying approach adopted by resellers. Resellers buy PCs that appeal to customers, and these PCs should generate a profit as well. So you should be able to sell a PC. That is why these PCs should appeal to customers. And at the same time, we have to ensure that by selling these PCs, we generate a profit. And therefore, in order to make sure that these PCs appeal to customers, we have to ensure that these PCs are not too old, and these PCs which we purchase should support current software, because as you know, when there are software upgrades, if the hardware is not supporting these software upgrades, you can't use a PC anymore. So we have to ensure, when buying, we have to ensure that we are not purchasing PCs which are not too old, or PCs which are not supporting current software updates. And at the same time, these PCs should be in acceptable cosmetic condition. If not, it will not appeal to customers. And resellers are always involved with bulk purchasing. They always try to purchase more than 50 units. Why? Because when you purchase on bulk, you get bulk discounts. Therefore, you are exposed to economies of scale. When you are exposed to economies of scale, the purchase cost per unit decreases. That is how you can drive a profit, by purchasing stocks which are about to be withdrawn from market. Okay, so that is our buying approach. And this business model exposes us to supply challenges as well, because the success of this business model depends on access to sufficient quantities of PCs and peripherals. Because if we don't purchase on bulk, we are not in a position to benefit from economies of scale advantages. We are not in a position to purchase from bulk discounts. And at the same time, we have to ensure that we are always purchasing good quality computers. If not, we will end up holding on to stocks which cannot be resold to customers, which will impact our profits in a negative manner. So these two elements which are tied to supply challenges, exposes us to business risks. And when developing the mock exams, we have made sure to cover these type of business risks. And there's a grading system which is adopted by resellers within this industry. So each PC which is purchased is graded concerning 4 different categories. These categories are new, as new, grade A refurbished, and grade B refurbished. So let's look at the new category. So these are the PCs which are original and which carries an unopened packaging. So if the packaging is not broken or unopened, we can sell them as new products. And these are usually sourced from manufacturers and large retailers. And on the other hand, there's another category which is known as new. These are the type of PCs which carries a packaging which is opened. And because the packaging is opened, these species are slightly marked due to light use. And these are usually, these as new products which fall under the as new category are usually demonstration units which are used by retailers, or products which are returned by online, returned to online retailers by customers after opening the package. So products which are used as demo units, definitely it does not carry any packaging, and at the same time these demo units are slightly marked because customers try out these PCs. So because of that, they are slightly marked. That's why we call them as new products. And at the same time, there are certain instances in which online retailers end up selling to customers, and when during transport the courier service damages the product. Because of that, these damage the product, or the courier service might, due to a fault of the courier service, the packaging might be damaged. If the packaging is damaged, the customer is not going to purchase this product or accept this product. So these type of products are sent back to the retailer. And sometimes if the customer is not too interested in the product or wants to upgrade the product, then the customer ends up returning these type of products. So these type of products which has packaging which is open are known as, or categorized as new products. And with regards to the refurbished range, there are two grades, grade A and grade B. So these refurbished type of PCs are focused on PCs purchased from commercial and non-commercial organizations. So as I mentioned earlier, commercial and non-commercial organizations replace, whenever they are replacing their PCs, they end up selling their used PCs to resellers. So if there are minor cosmetic marks and minor signs of wear on keyboards and touchscreens, these are categorized as grade A refurbished. On the other hand, if there are medium cosmetic marks and medium signs of wear, then these type of PCs are categorized as grade B refurbished. So this categorization is actually subjective, because how can you determine whether a certain mark or whether a certain PC carries a minor cosmetic mark or a medium cosmetic mark? So this exposes us to conflicts, of which I'm going to talk about in a little while. So what you need to remember is the grading system adopted by resellers consists of four main elements: new, as new, grade A refurbished, and grade B refurbished. So the possible exam scenarios which can be tested tied to all this information is with regards to disputes with customers over product classification. So let's assume the customer purchases a grade A refurbished product from us, and later the customer says, okay, I'm not satisfied with the quality of the product. It does not carry minor cosmetic marks. Instead, it carries medium cosmetic marks. So because of that, the customer asks for a replacement or a significant discount. So these type of customer disputes might occur when operating within this industry. And on top of that, there could be internal conflicts over classification as well. So I'm going to highlight about these internal conflicts in a little while. I'll give you a snippet of what I'm going to talk about, because there are 4 different departments within your company, and two of them are the buying department and the inventory management department, or the buying department and the inventory department. So the buying department purchases PCs which are used from various different third parties, new as well as used PCs from various different third parties, and the classification or the categorization or the grading is carried out by the inventory department. So since the buying department is involved with purchasing, however, the categorization or the grading is carried out by the inventory department, this might lead to some type of internal conflicts between the buying and inventory departments. I'm going to explain these things in depth in a little while. So these internal conflicts concerning classifications might expose us to various different conflicts within our organization. So tied to this information, your knowledge concerning costs of quality can be tested. As you know, there are 2 different categories, conformance and non-conformance costs. So when we are purchasing and selling new and used computers or PCs, especially concerning used PCs, it exposes us to internal non-conformance costs such as internal failure as well as external failure. And on top of that, we are exposed to reputational and legal risks tied to issues with classification and issues with customers. And also when given these type of conflicts within our company, within two different departments, as well as conflicts with customers, your knowledge concerning conflict resolution strategies will definitely be tested. And when dealing with these type of conflicting stakeholders, you have to execute proper leadership. So your knowledge concerning leadership strategies will be tested. And in order to provide appropriate leadership, in order to resolve these conflicts, you have to communicate appropriately. So your knowledge concerning communication strategies will be tested. And sometimes you might have to conduct disciplinary action when dealing with conflicting parties. If so, how to conduct this disciplinary action in the most successful manner will be tested at the exam. As well as if you are exposed to legal disputes tied to these conflicts, your knowledge concerning IAS 37 provisions, contingent liabilities, and contingent assets will be tested at the exam. Okay, then let's try to understand the resellers in Lamland in your chosen industry, or in your chosen country rather. There are two players. We are one of them, Ressett, and our closest competitor is FixUp. So there's only just two players within this industry, and the Lamlandian market would not be able to sustain 3 or more resellers. Why is this the case? Because our industry is static, it's stagnant, it is not supposed to grow in the future. So when this is the case, when operating in a stagnant or mature market, usually you don't see new players coming in. But this could be a scenario at your examination, given the fact that the examiner is hinting about one more player entering the market, given the fact that the Lamlandian market would not be able to sustain 3 or more resellers. So there could be a situation, but I don't think this is going to be a major scenario which can be tested at the exam. So possible exam scenario when operating in this type of an industry which is stagnant, when there's only just two players, the only way to improve our market share is to opt for a diversification, or we might have to acquire FixUp in its entirety. So if you are opting for diversification, as I mentioned earlier, your knowledge concerning business models, business ecosystems, how to tackle various different business risks, and how to conduct investment appraisal will be tested. And also, given the fact that there's just two players, if we want to improve, we have to conduct competitive benchmarking. So your knowledge concerning competitive benchmarking will be tested at the examination. All right, so that's what your industry is all about. Then let's try to understand what your company is up to at the moment. So Ressett was founded in 1986. So we have been in operation for 30 odd years, almost 40 years, which is a significant strength of your company. And the current status is the fact that we are reselling new and used PCs, peripherals, and consumables, as I mentioned earlier. And we are not selling any other products at the moment. So there could be some type of a diversification in which, as I mentioned earlier, we might try to resell gaming equipment and whatnot in the future. And our products are sold only via an online channel, only via our website. And our operations are handled via a fulfillment center, which is located in mid-city. So there's no indication of how large our country is. And because of that, we cannot say whether it's good to have just one fulfillment center. And this fulfillment center is our distribution hub, which handles distribution, warehousing, and whatnot. So, handling just one distribution center will be good in terms of operational costs, because if we had multiple fulfillment centers, then our operational costs will multiply as well. So it's good to have just one single fulfillment center. And we are employing a total of 350 staff members. So your knowledge concerning HR elements, which are covered within your E2 syllabus, will be tested at your exam. And looking at the departments, there are 4 main departments within your chosen organization, which are buying, sales, inventory, and administration. So considering these 4 different departments and considering the activities carried out by these 4 different departments, your knowledge concerning balanced scorecard can be tested at the exam. Why balanced scorecard? Because the balanced scorecard, it highlights performance concerning financial and non-financial performance, looking at various different elements. Because in the past, companies only focus their attention towards financial performance metrics, but in this day and age, it's essential that we think in terms of non-financial elements, thereby thinking in terms of how we can improve the cohesion within our organization, within the departments, and at the same time, because if we improve the cohesion, then this leads to goal congruence, and at the same time, we have to make sure that we are successful in the future as well. So in order to be successful in the future, in order to be goal congruent in the present, we have to ensure that we focus our attention towards financial and non-financial performance metrics. That is why you should go through the knowledge areas concerning balanced scorecard. And we have developed, when developing mock exams, we have made sure to cover this element as well. So let's try to understand what happens within the buying department. So the buying department is supposed to engage and negotiate with manufacturers and large retailers. So as I mentioned earlier, we purchase end-of-life products from manufacturers as well as large retailers. And this should be handled, the negotiations or relationships should be handled by the buying department. And we are purchasing inventories to be withdrawn from sales, as I mentioned earlier. Also, the buying department should be in contact with corporate IT managers, because via these corporates and non-governmental, corporates and governmental organizations, we purchase good quality used PCs and peripherals, which are categorized as refurbished grade A or refurbished grade B. All right. So managing relationships with manufacturers, retailers, and corporate IT managers is the prime responsibility of the buying department. And what is our buying approach? We always aim to purchase in bulk, because if we purchase in bulk, we will benefit from bulk discounts, which will expose us to economies of scale related cost efficiencies. And at the same time, the buying department negotiates discounted prices, rightfully so, because we are purchasing either used products or we are purchasing new products which are going out of the market. And the buying department should ensure that there's sufficient inventory of various different pieces which are in demand at the moment, and they must ensure that the prices are attractive for customers as well. So in order to ensure that the prices are attractive, they have to always try and purchase these new and used pieces at the lowest cost as much as possible. And also another responsibility which is held by the buying department is to coordinate with the inventory department. So the inventory department informs of problems with incoming goods. So the buying department, let's assume the buying department purchases a set of PCs from a certain company, and these PCs, as I mentioned earlier, are graded by the inventory department. So the inventory department, when they are grading or going through these PCs, if they figure out that there are certain problems within these PCs, then they will inform the buying department about these problems, and therefore the buying department should return these seriously damaged products, or at the same time they should seek significant discounts. So this relationship between the inventory department and the buying department exposes us to conflicts between these two departments, and at the same time, when it comes to the buying department having to return products to corporate clients, or return products which were bought from companies, when you have to return these products back, this exposes us to conflicts between the buying department and the entities from which we purchase the products. All right. And looking at the staff profile of the buying department, the buying department's staff require technical knowledge of the products which they procure. If not, we are not in a position, if they are clueless of the technical elements, we are not in a position to sell them, resell these products to end customers. And at the same time, they have to have a good understanding of customer preferences as well. So they have to be conversant with the technical elements of PCs, as well as they have to have a good understanding of what is in demand, the type of PCs and peripherals in demand at the moment. If not, they will end up, even if the PCs are in good condition, they will end up purchasing products which cannot be resold to end customers. And looking at customer behavior, usually individuals who purchase from resellers, they are looking for inexpensive items. Sometimes, although this is the case, if we are offering a good price, they will impulsively purchase an expensive item as well. Because as I told you earlier, we are purchasing new products from manufacturers. And if there is a new product which might be considered as an old product, but if this product is unused or categorized as new, and if the price is good, someone who comes to purchase a low-cost product might end up spending some additional money and buying a high-end product. So that's how customers behave when purchasing from us. And tied to all this information, the possible exam scenarios are with regards to disputes with sellers over damaged items. So the buying department purchases various different PCs and peripherals from sellers, and there could be disputes, as I mentioned earlier, given the fact that after we purchase something, when we try to return, definitely when we are dealing with used items, there will be conflicts between the buying department and sellers. And also there could be internal conflicts between the buying department and the inventory department. And also this might expose us to inventory overstocking or understocking situations as well. Okay, so the examinable areas tied to all this information is with regards to the type of operational risks which we might be exposed to due to the various different relationships between the stakeholders, and how these conflicts might impact the business ecosystem. Because if you look at the current business ecosystem, it's essential that we satisfy our customers as much as possible. However, due to these conflicts, if we end up dissatisfying our customers, we will be going against our current business ecosystem. And at the same time, when dealing with these conflicts, definitely your knowledge concerning negotiation tactics or negotiation strategies will be tested. Conflict resolution, leadership, as well as communication methodologies, all these elements which are covered within your E2 syllabus will be tested. So that's your buying department. Then let's try to understand what your sales department is up to. So the sales department is involved with website management. So the sales department's employees are supposed to list products with classification, photos, and description within the website. And they are also supposed to determine the selling prices as well. And when it comes to customer orders, customers purchase through our website. However, corporate customers purchase in bulk via the call center as well. So although we are 100% selling via our website, corporate clients reach through to us via the call center with the intention of gaining all the necessary information and knowledge about the PCs on offer. And then let's try to understand how our call center operates. The call center deals with queries and complaints such as delivery delays and defects, and they explain and advise on technical aspects to customers. So it's essential that our call center staff are well versed with the technical aspects of each and every product we sell within our website. And as I mentioned earlier, various different corporates reach out to call center advisors to gain all the information concerning the PCs and peripherals we sell. And our call center operations are open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, 7 days a week. And we do offer after-sale services. However, these after-sale services cease 3 months after purchase, which is a problem, which might be a problem because customers won't like it. Because when you purchase, products which are resold in the market, after 3 months, you might encounter some type of problem, especially if you purchased a used product. And when we try to reach out to the call center, they are not offering any service. This will impact customer satisfaction levels in a negative manner. Something similar to this issue is highlighted towards the very end of your Preseen. I don't have time to explain all these things. Please go watch the recorded versions of the Preseen analysis videos, because we have explained all these things in depth. And looking at the staff profile, our sales staff have good technical knowledge of IT equipment, rightfully so, because if you are to sell properly, you need to have a good understanding of all different PCs and peripherals which are on offer via our website. And possible exam scenarios tied to all this information is with regards to a website or cybersecurity issue. Since we are involved with 100% online sales, definitely there could be a scenario which is tied to a website issue or a cybersecurity issue. And at the same time, there could be a situation where the board intends to upgrade the website, and there's no indication of us using an app. But in this day and age, if we are to offer convenience, we have to mobile optimize our website, and the easiest way to do so is to opt for an app. So there could be a situation tied to us developing an app. And also there could be an issue highlighted within the exam concerning misinformation on the website, because as I mentioned earlier, the sales staff are supposed to list products with classification, photos, and description. When doing so, they might make a mistake, and these mistakes might lead to business issues in the future. And also there could be situations where inconsistent tech advice is offered by call center staff. This might happen because we cannot ensure that all call center staff are constantly kept updated about tech upgrades, given the fact that we are dealing with PCs. The technology used within PCs are ever evolving. So in such an environment, there could be instances where the tech advices provided by our call center staff are inconsistent. So tied to these scenarios, the examinable syllabus areas are various different risks tied to technology, legal, and reputation. And also be prepared to indicate performance measures to keep tabs about the sales staff as well as the call center staff's performance. Also, your knowledge concerning team management will be tested, because within the sales department, we are not just dealing with sales individuals, we are dealing with call center staff. And on top of that, there are various different employees within the buying department, the inventory department, as well as the admin department, of which I'm going to talk about in a little while. So your knowledge concerning team management will be tested. And especially if we are to upgrade our website, or if we are developing an app, this is a totally new project which we are undertaking. So your knowledge concerning project management methodologies will be tested. And if you are to develop an app which will be considered as an intangible asset, your knowledge concerning IAS 38 intangible assets will be tested at the exam. Okay, so then let's try to understand what happens within your inventory department. So the inventory department is primarily focused on 4 main parts. They are supposed to prepare products or PCs and peripherals for sale. They have to conduct quality checks and refurbishments as and when necessary. And they have to coordinate with the buying department, and they are supposed to be involved with warehouse management initiatives. So when it comes to preparations conducted in lieu of sales, they are supposed to prepare products for listing on the website and for sale. They are supposed to check that all packaging is sealed when dealing with new products. And if the packaging is damaged, as I mentioned earlier, the product should be tested and repackaged as an as new product. So if the packaging is intact, there's no issue at all. You can categorize them as a new product. But if the packaging is broken, then you have to test the product. That's the responsibility of the inventory department, and repackage them and classify them as new products. And with regards to the way in which they conduct quality checks and refurbishments, they have to verify that as new goods are in as new condition. That is why they are supposed to conduct tests on products or PCs when dealing with PCs which carry damaged packaging. And on top of that, they are supposed to perform necessary refurbishments as well, which includes deleting all data files, removing all software except the operating system, because without the operating system, you can't utilize a PC. Other than the operating system, you have to get rid of all various different types of software, because if software is intact or kept within the PCs, then this exposes us to security issues concerning the original customers who used these PCs. And if these original customers are exposed to security issues, then they will end up suing us, which exposes us to legal and reputational risks. So it's essential that our inventory staff within our inventory department do their job properly. Therefore, take steps to remove all software except the operating system before they end up packaging a product as an as new or a refurbished product. And they are supposed to clean or polish exteriors and classify as grade O, grade B refurbished. All right, and they are supposed to coordinate with the buying department, and they are supposed to report problems with bought-in goods, which exposes us to conflicts, as I mentioned earlier. And also, they are supposed to reject seriously damaged items, so that the buying department is supposed to return these seriously damaged items, or the buying department is supposed to seek significant discounts from the seller, again, which exposes us to risks between the selling department and the inventory department, as well as this exposes us to risks between the sellers and our buying department. And our inventory department is supposed to manage the warehouse as well. So they are supposed to log incoming items in the inventory management system. And this inventory management system is linked to our sales website. So the examiner is indicating the fact that the company, Ressett, is utilizing an inventory management system. This might not be a fully fledged warehouse management system, because if that is the case, the examiner will speak about it. And there's no indication of a business intelligence system being used within your company. So definitely your knowledge concerning business intelligence systems will be tested at the exam, because this company lacks a BI system. It's essential that you have access to a BI system, given the fact that you are dealing with various different stakeholders, and given the fact that you are dealing with used items. And so they are supposed to log incoming items into the inventory management system, as well as prepare goods for dispatch and process collections by the third party courier company. So logistics or transportation is handled by one single courier company. So we are dealing with one single courier company, which is good, because if you're dealing with multiple courier companies, we might be exposed to logistics related issues. So it's good to deal with one single logistics services provider, so that we can have collaborative relationships. We can enjoy collaborative relationships with this one single courier company. So the possible exam scenarios which can be tested tied to all this information is with regards to disputes with the buying department, disputes between the buying and the inventory department. And there could be questions tied to data wipeout related issues. A similar situation is highlighted within one of the news articles which appear towards the very end of your Preseen. And there could be refurbishment related issues as well. So once you refurbish a certain PC and categorize it as grade A, if it breaks down after some time, then we might be exposed to legal issues, as well as it will impact our reputation in a negative manner. And there could be classification related issues as well. The way in which we classify our products could be problematic, because it's highly subjective. And on top of that, inventory management system related issues might be there, which forces us to upgrade the system or implement a new system. And there could be issues with the courier company as well. So I said that it's good to deal with one single courier company, but we are solely dependent on this courier company. And if they cease offering services to us, even if they are going against the service level agreements, if they cease to offer services to us, then our business will come to a grinding halt. So the examinable syllabus areas are tied to legal and reputational risks, data protection and data security risks tied to data wipeout related issues, and your knowledge concerning costs of quality will be tested, especially given the fact that we are dealing with used items. And on top of that, your knowledge concerning conflict resolution will be tested. When dealing with various different stakeholders, we are exposed to conflicts. And on top of that, internally, between departments, we are exposed to conflicts. And your knowledge concerning business intelligence systems, especially given the fact that we do not have a BI system, there could be a situation where the examiner tests understanding with regards to us having to implement a new BI system. And if you are to implement a new BI system or a warehouse management system, it's a new project, so your knowledge concerning project management can be tested. And if you are exposed to legal issues, IS 37 provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets will be tested. And if we are developing a new system that is considered as an intangible asset, therefore your knowledge concerning IS 38 intangible assets can be tested. And then let's look at what the administration department is up to. The administration department is involved with approving credit for B2B customers. We need not worry about B2C customers because they pay by card, they purchase directly via the website. So when dealing with B2B clients, we have to approve credit terms. So these terms are stipulated by the administration department. They are also involved with the financing elements tied to bookkeeping and accounting. They are also handling human resources management and marketing. So I think the administration department is overburdened with work because they are looking into various different functions, which should ideally be, different departments, especially concerning HRM and marketing. Why am I saying this? Because we have 350 employees. So when the administration department is supposed to deal with all 350 employees, then they will be bombarded with unnecessary work. So it's rather than asking the admin department to handle HR related issues, it's better to have a separate HR department. And the same could be said about the marketing department as well, because the marketing department is handling marketing as well as sales. So it's better to have a separate department to look into these affairs, especially given the fact that we are operating in a static market. We are operating with thin margins. When this is the case, it's essential that our marketing and sales elements are handled in an appropriate manner with appropriate levels of leadership. All right. So having said that, finally, I don't have time to take you through all this information. I simply want to direct your attention towards one of the news articles because concerning your industry, it's essential that you gain a good understanding of what appears within this news article. So this news article indicates problems tied to e-waste. This is a term used for discarded electronic devices, and this is a growing problem in this day and age. And these discarded electronic devices exposes the environment as well as humans to toxic substances which are harmful to humans as well as the environment. And recycling is possible, yet difficult and expensive. So given all these issues, there could be an exam scenario in which the government introduces new regulation regarding e-waste disposal. So especially in the EU, you see these type of regulations coming into play, in which the governments are saying, okay, if you're selling something which cannot be disposed of, you have to make sure that you buy back or you collect these type of products from customers once the customer cease using them. So let's assume we sell PCs, and when we are selling PCs, once a customer is done using a PC, rather than asking the customer to dispose of this PC, we have to go and collect this used PC from the customer. So when this is the case, we are exposed to some additional costs, and this goes against our business model, because as per our business model, we are trying to reduce costs as much as possible because we are selling at a significant discount. When this is the case, we have to try and reduce our operational costs as much as possible. But if we have to collect these used items which cannot be used anymore from our customers, then this exposes us to additional costs. Therefore, we are not in a position to profit in the future. So these type of new regulations will adversely impact the way in which we run our business at the moment. There could be a scenario tied to a similar situation. And also, there could be a situation where we don't comply with government regulation. Therefore, we are exposed to legal action or penalties. And this also leads to negative publicity as well. So the examinable syllabus areas which can be tested tied to these two scenarios is with regards to handling legal and reputational risks, stress testing our business model, stress testing our plans, financial and non-financial plans, because as I mentioned earlier, if these type of laws come into play, if we have to collect used items from our customers, this exposes us to additional costs as well as risks, and these costs and risks will impact the success of our business. So we have to stress test our financial plans, stress test our business model to keep tabs about how well we can withstand these type of changes which are poised to occur within the industry. Why am I saying this? Why am I saying that these type of regulations might come into play, given the fact that you see that in the EU countries, and at the same time, there's a sustainability report which appears within your Preseen, and there are certain shortcomings which are highlighted within the sustainability report, which indicates the fact that we might not be ready to face all these type of changes in regulation. And also, when dealing with these type of uncertainties, you have to provide appropriate leadership. You have to communicate with the impacted stakeholders, both internally and externally, as well as you have to ensure that you do your reporting concerning IR or integrated reporting initiatives, thereby highlighting the sustainability initiatives, highlighting sustainability initiatives adopted by your company. And there's a way in which you should communicate these initiatives to stakeholders. That is why you need to focus your attention towards integrated reporting, so this element can be tested. And your knowledge concerning IAS 37, if you are exposed to legal issues, your knowledge concerning IAS 37 provisions, contingent liabilities, and contingent assets can be tested at the examination. All these elements which I highlighted, we have made sure to, all these syllabus areas which I highlighted, we have made sure to cover them across the 6 mocks which we have developed, which will be released on a weekly basis as per our 8-week study plan. All right. So having said that, it brings us to the end of the Preseen analysis, and this brings us to the Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can switch on your mic and talk, or drop us a message via the chat. I will address all your questions and concerns. I'm going to pause the recording. All right, folks, thank you very much for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. And after watching the Preseen analysis videos, if you still have questions or doubts, you can drop a message via the WhatsApp forum. Myself and Jared are always there to help you guys out. And I want to remind you of the pass rate which we achieved at TCS concerning the sessions which were held in May 2025. We were able to achieve a 90% pass rate. So almost all our students passed simply by sticking to our study plan. So if you stick to our study plan, you can achieve a similar feat. And having said that, if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. Visit our website and click on the contact button and drop us a message. Our admin staff will get in touch with you via email during office hours, or you can simply email us at info@study@tcs.com, or WhatsApp us on this number if you want instantaneous support. And I urge you to follow us on our social media handles, especially YouTube and TikTok, because the recorded versions of these webinars and workshops are uploaded to our YouTube handle. And via TikTok, you would gain access to 6 different videos, which is good and effective Preseen mind map. So for instance, on your way to office on a daily basis, keep watching these 6 TikToks so that you are constantly keeping yourself reminded of the most important points highlighted within your Preseen. Also, I urge you guys to read the blog post, which is based on Ressett, which gives you a good synopsis of the entire Preseen. And you can reread this blog post closer to your examination to remind yourself of the most important points highlighted within your Preseen document. So having said that, it brings us to the end of the Preseen analysis session. I hope you gained something out of this session, and I hope to see you guys next week, next Saturday at 10 a.m. UK or 9 GMT, in which I'm going to teach you answering and time management techniques. And within this week, as per our study plan, I hope you will finish off your studies or preparations concerning the Preseen document. So thank you very much for joining. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, take care.